Marty, hey.
Hey.
So this is our friend Marty Backey. He is riding two wheels right now. Actually, there's four, I guess, if we add them all up. But he is out here today to help us with a couple of things that we have, questions that Don Champion and myself have about the Commander Pro and the Commander Mini suspension setup. So both of these have, and this is also another, I'll call it a point of contention. Here, watch this. Don, which one of those two wheels has hydraulic suspension?
Mini.
Marty? Both of them. We both say both of them. Don disagrees with us.
No, I don't disagree. I don't know. That's the first time I heard of the hydraulic was with the Mini.
Okay, so
no one said anything about the
hydraulic suspension, Patton hydraulic suspension, Sherman S hydraulic suspension. Hydraulic suspension is pretty much just like a coil shock where the coil's on the inside, and there's a lot of juices flowing around.
The 11 B13 too.
And probably the EX.
Original,
Yeah. That was quite a wheel. Okay, so.
Wait, so is it always the ones that have this type suspension that is that what's called hydraulic?
So hydraulic to me means that there is a piston inside that is being pushed through the fluid to cause the suspension to slow either its compression or its rebound. And you have an adjustment that'll change the size of a hole or the spacing next to the, like a washer kind of thing, that will adjust your rebound and damping. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, and then the spring is adjusted by another adjustment.
So yeah, so then the spring is for adjusting what is called the preload on the shock. And shocks have something called a rate, which is how many pounds of force they give per inch of compression. I actually don't remember what they call the constant on a shock or on a spring. Or they call it the spring constant, I think. I don't know. That sounds about right. And then there's another element that nobody talks about, which is when these pistons are compressed, the volume inside of them is reduced, resulting in internal pressure in the shock, which sort of acts like an air spring also. And that is going to vary depending on how much air volume is in there, because the amount that it gets compressed is going to be pi r squared times h, and then that's a ratio of the volume of air inside the shock. So
you just lost 50% of your viewers there, Roger.
Okay.
Add some more math in there.
All right. Anyway. Bye, dumb people. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to briefly talk about how we adjust the suspension on that, and then maybe spend a little more time on that. Even though the actual function, everything is exactly the same, tool's a little different. Commander Pro has...
Very convenient.
Yeah. According to Marty, it has this red 14mm socket tool.
Roger's playing with me. The one that I have is orange handled. And he says orange, mine's yellow.
And then he made me second guess myself. But anyway, what this is doing, you're getting on a nut in here, and as you torque down on that, you're actually pushing a collar down inside the shock that compresses the spring. So in effect, you are taking that spring constant that we talked about earlier, and you're sort of adding it up. And with a spring that is linear, it'll keep compressing based on the weight added. None of these springs are meant to be progressive springs. So there's a couple of progressive springs that are used on coilover shocks, but we don't have any of those, and they're usually more expensive. So what you want to do is, here, let's see here. Don, do you think you can get on the, we're going to start with the Commander Mini. Like go over next to the tree here and stand on the wheel. So what we're going to look for is something called the sag. So we could see that is pretty much zero sag. So this is adjusted for somebody that outweighs Don by a pretty good amount. This is a pretty imposing view of you, Don. Anyway, so I don't know if Marty ever set this up for himself or it just came pretty good.
It came on a full up position, not turned.
Okay.
You know, so I didn't bother because if you add,
Yeah.
it's going to make it stiffer.
So you're saying that we cannot add sag to this?
But I didn't experiment. So
Let's-
this is opposite of what you would think it was. So if you tighten it down, it gets less.
Yeah, which is possible if it's on a threaded rod that as you turn it, it pulls up the collar. But that seems a little weird. Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. We're going to, and we should be able to feel, it'd be kind of easier to turn in the direction that is adding sag. So on the Commander Mini, the little controls, which are quite visible like they are on the Commander Pro, here they're kind of hidden underneath a child-proof container. So we might need to get somebody to help Don out.
No. It's just that this
It's killing the Velcro.
Well, it's not Velcro. It's just a double-sided tape. Or is it? Is it Velcro?
It's cheap Velcro that wants to peel off.
Yeah, the Velcro keeps coming off.
You can fix it later.
Okay. There.
Okay.
You want both sides off?
Let's check with.
Here, both sides are
Okay, both sides are off. So this one we cannot access the little collary thingy that this gets to from the top. So they put it down here. So we're going to check to see what feels like it's being loosened. So if I go here,
Should be probably have to turn it. It was all the way against the stop, right?
I just tightened it a bit and I'm going back to the stop to check. Yes, so that is all the way on this. So that could be all the way tight, but let's give it a few of these. And it doesn't feel too difficult to turn. And I like, I don't know if you can see here, but there's these little letters on this thing. There's a B. So
and an A.
I think that's so we can tell how many turns we've given the rebound adjustment. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the other side the same way, and we're gonna see if the
Oh,
the headlight.
You're grinding.
okay. I thought you were saying I was blinding you.
Have you ridden it at night yet?
No, I still have to do that.
Yeah. And did you fix the port cover like I?
Yes.
Okay,
Did you see how clean this wheel is?
Yeah, that's great.
okay, now Don, we're going to check to see if there's any sag on there now. Does it feel harder or softer?
Feels softer.
Okay, so
It
I
looked like it maybe did sag.
Oh wait, but now it's not rebounding.
I might have touched the reboundy thing as I was doing it. That was not intentional.
It's not coming back up.
So that's the little screwy thing. So this is the rebound adjustment. So turning it,
I had it at 6 out.
oh, do your adjustment then.
Wait, how did I do it? Okay, so I went forward all the way.
That's not good. You need to have one go forward and one go backwards, because if you go forward all the way, one's going clockwise, the other's going counterclockwise.
I do that.
Anyway, okay. Anyway, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Did you hit the stop first in opposite directions, or?
Huh?
That looks much harder.
That is very hard.
Okay.
Well, I didn't say that I was doing it right. I was saying I was just turning things until they
Okay, here.
got okay.
Hold this for,
All right.
for a second.
You do it.
I want to check something.
Yes.
I like that I could see into the little colorful lights inside.
You know, what purpose are those? Who knows? The flashing blue and red.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's going to be all the way. Seems fast, but you knew. Okay. Regardless, that's not what we were adjusting. So that's that way, and then we would have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And a little slower. Okay, but anyway, I feel like I'm not getting much of a sag either. So I'm going to keep on screwing with it, or unscrewing with it. Oh wait, I forgot. I have to turn it the tightening direction.
Hopefully it's not like the V13 where if you turn it too much it snaps in half.
Don't worry, Marty, it's not my wheel.
Yeah, thank you, Roger. I'm always a little wary about continually turning something in one direction, not knowing, well,
Oh, yeah.
will it maybe unscrew from something? And
Yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of wrenching going on.
And I stopped counting also.
it should ultimately stop, right?
It should. But it had to stop the other way. I don't know.
Maybe it's fake.
It seems like it hasn't done anything.
Okay, so remember what I said.
Huh.
What I learned is that you can't do that bouncy test on this anymore. You have to actually go out and ride it. That's when you can feel the
We are
difference.
testing preload though. So that is a different thing. So yeah, we want to see our sag. So maybe I'm going to turn the rebound adjustment the other direction, just in case that's screwing with me. Make sure that's faster. I mean, that should now be slower. Look slower on the bounce up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the big takeaway from this video is don't bother adjusting.
Yeah, it felt fine, really.
It feels great, that suspension, right, as it was,
No, I had to change it.
for the rebound.
Yeah, she adjusted these little rebound
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it
Yeah.
rides nice.
Well, it was too stiff for me at
Too
Fullerton.
Now you can't, unlike the patent, you can't choose what spring strength you have in here. So we have no idea what kind of spring they put in there.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
Maybe it's heavy duty spring that
Yeah.
they have in there.
It makes sense that they would put heavy duty springs because after all the big guys here have been complaining about the puny springs, and they're gonna go, okay, let's put the big springs in there, and then people like me get like, oh, thanks a lot, now it's too stiff and I'm getting pogoed off of the washboards.
How did it feel on Fullerton going through all those washboards?
It was horrible. I was getting pogoed right off, but when I was doing the
Really?
bigger drops,
Even with the rebound?
yeah. But on the big drops, well, my standard big drops, like dropping off the wall and stuff, those felt perfect. And on those, I was bottoming out on my master, but my master feels perfect on the washboards. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's like, it's great, you know, for a bigger person, I guess, but not so great for me right now.
Okay, so I'm just putting this back to where it was in the beginning because Yeah, it's a great video.
What if the- yeah, I can't remember if I think I did play with that on the Commander Pro, but I can't remember.
Yeah, that'll be a better video because I actually know how that one works.
Have you tried it?
Well, I adjusted it for myself.
So it did affect the sag.
I assume so.
You can't remember?
I don't really. I mean, I adjusted it because I wanted like a little less than 20% sag, and that's where I got it to. So it did something.
Okay, it sounded like you couldn't remember.
Yeah, I really can't remember exactly what the deal was, but I know I used that orange thing
Was
when
that
I.
on a drinking day?
No, that was at work, after work, when everything was quiet. But yeah, the Sherman S has more similar to the Commander Pro style, where those big old nuts, and you could see how far up it is. Okay, now this is all the way unscrewed again.
Now there's sag, definitely. When you stood on it, there's definitely sag for sure.
Yeah.
So Don
Yeah, it's
stands-
sagging for you now.
When Don stands on it, nothing, but I can see the sag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and that's all the way back to the original position.
So it's just that stiff spring.
So it's a stiff spring. Commander Pro stiff spring.
Commander Mini.
Commander Mini also stiff spring, but not as stiff as the Commander Pro. I don't know. Okay, so that's one thing. The other adjustment is the little ringy things, which is the rebound adjustment, which when you jump down on it, it's how fast it goes back to the neutral spot. So I don't know, like the Master, they have 0 compression damping and only rebound damping. So people are always bottoming it out, and then if you have the rebound set fast, it goes tink at the top. So anyway, I don't feel like we really learned a lot here today, but it was nice visiting with Marty and Don.
Thanks for stopping by, guys.
So
They brought me me and Loopy some great Chinese food, so we had a nice meal and talk. Thanks again, guys.
You're welcome.
anyway, thanks.
Thanks. Bye, guys.